This story that I'm about to bring to you is the perfect example of bully tactics. So you are looking at this picture of clearly 45, and it's a bunch of people standing behind him, and they're wearing those highlighter colored vests. These are all Shell workers. And as you all know, Trump recently just had a rally, of course, because he's always having rallies. It seems like he's having one every week. But these Shell workers were given an ultimatum. And it is one that if I had to work for them, I would have to take the risk and opt out of not being there. But the ultimatum was that they had to show up for this rally or show up to work and not get paid. You heard that correctly. Either go to this rally or basically go into work where you've always gotten paid and be there almost as if you were either a volunteer or an intern. When I heard that, I said, are you serious? And that most likely means that it could be some people in that crowd that are not supporters of 45, but they were forced to go because they couldn't afford to lose any type of a check. And it also shows that and I think this is another reason that they had to do it, is because without that many people there, it would have made his rally look very almost like how his inauguration did, bare minimum or beneath it. As you can see, they took up most of the room for his little rally or whatever. Let me see if I can find another picture. Yeah, see, here's another picture right here. This is a better view of it. They took up the entire room. If they did not go to that rally, it would not have looked like that. So I think they did it for camera purposes as well. And then they probably slipped the people like the managers and maybe the owners some money and told them that they had to go. But let me go ahead and read this article. The choice for thousands of union workers at Royal Dutch Shell's petrochemical plant in Beaver County was clear Tuesday. Either stand in a giant hall waiting for President Donald Trump to speak or take the day off with no pay. Your attendance is not mandatory, said the rules that one contractor relayed to the employees, summarizing points from a memo that Shell sent union leaders a day ahead of the visit to the $6 billion construction site. But only those who showed up at 7 a.m., scanned their ID cards, and prepared to stand for hours through lunch, but without lunch, would be paid. No scan, no pay, a supervisor for that contractor wrote. That company and scores of other contractors on site and their labor employees all have their own contracts with Shell. Several said the contracts stipulate that to get paid, workers must be on site. Those who decided not to come to the site for the event would have an excused but non-paid absence, the company said, and would not qualify for overtime pay on Friday. Shell spokesman Ray Fisher explained that the workers on site have a 56-hour work week with 16 hours of overtime built in. That means those workers who attended 45 speech and showed up for work Friday, meeting the overtime threshold, were being paid at a rate of time and a half, while those who didn't go to hear 45 were being paid the regular rate, despite the fact that both groups did not go to work on Tuesday. This is just what Shell wanted to do, and we went along with it, said Ken Broadbent, business manager for Steamfitters Local 449. The local has 2,400 workers on the site, and Mr. Broadbent said he would not bad rap about it one way or another. We're glad to have the jobs. We're glad to have the project built, he said. The president is the president whether we like him or dislike him. We respect him for the title. Mr. Broadbent said anyone who did not show up to work that day was free to do so. This is America. So it seems to me like they were not, so it wasn't mandatory. But still, at the same time, that little stipulation that they threw in there was still messed up. One union leader reached Friday, who asked not to be named because he did not want to make trouble for his workers, and said one day of work might amount to about $700 in pay, benefits, and a per diem payment that out-of-town workers receive. Mr. Fisher said Friday that this was treated as a paid training day with a guest speaker who happened to be the president. He said workers engaged in safety training and other activities in the morning. It's not uncommon for us to shut down the site for quarterly visits from VIPs. Popular sports figures like Rocky Blair and Franco Harris had visited the site to engage with workers to share inspirational messages. Shell Penske NASCAR driver Joey Logano was another guest at the site, Mr. Fisher said. Several union workers said they were not consulted about the arrangement before it was sent out. The contractor's talking points preparing his workers for the event read, "No yelling, shouting, protesting, or anything viewed as resistance will be tolerated at the event. An underlying theme of the event is to promote goodwill from the unions. Your building trades leaders and job stewards have agreed to this." 45 received a generally warm and at times cheerful welcome at Shell, where he praised natural gas extraction in Appalachia and talked about his political grievances and name-called some opponents. Shell will process natural gas into plastic pellets when the plant is operational. The president also called out union leadership, which Shell have requested to be in attendance. "I'm going to speak to some of your union leaders to say, I hope you're going to support Trump, okay?" he said. "And if they don't, vote them the hell out of office because they're not doing their job." More than a dozen union workers at the Shell site, the largest construction project in the state. Well, you heard it there. They literally, some of them got strong armed into going to this event. See, and the thing is, even though they said it wasn't mandatory, they still risked losing a whole day's worth of pay. You heard the guy said that they literally lost, if they did not go, they would have lost about $700 that day. That's a lot of money when you think about it. For a day's work, when you think about it. Depending on the location of, where you live, and of course you're within your means, but still $700. And I don't know what it is after taxes, or maybe that is after taxes. I'm not sure. So technically, even though it wasn't mandatory for them to go, they still was going to lose out on a check and any other type of benefit, because it sounds like to me they was giving them that plus overtime. To me, that's basically what it was reading as. That's why many of them went, because trust and believe, if it wasn't going to affect their pay, a lot of them would not have gone. So that was pretty much the end all be all right there. So in a way, it was an ultimatum. Like, that's what it's come to. Like, either you go to this event even though you don't want to go and you're not a supporter of whoever's speaking, or you just can, not go and not get paid. See, at that point, I would be doing my best to find either other place of employment or other sources of income. I would probably be more so with the latter. But y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments.